I think that's a tall order for any team to do that. But obviously they're in a good spot right now. Brian, what have you seen from Washington's defense through 1 week and some of the guys we've seen in previous years that they've got that could be key matchups for this team?
Yeah, I think it starts with Ryan Kerrigan with this front. And Coach Garrett talked about Ryan Kerrigan and what, he's a guy that he doesn't miss games. He's a relentless player. All those things that you want to say, cliches you want to talk about a player, a defensive player, a rush player. Ryan Kerrigan fits that mold. And I feel like that the matchup with him and Lyle Collins is one you have to keep an eye on, because I went back and watched the game last year, and he got Lyle Collins a couple of different times. The big time was down on the goal line with the sack, the fumble. They kind of got him in a situation where they didn't block him as well. They didn't handle the twist stunt as well. But then in his first sack, though, he got Lyle Collins, just overpowered him and then was able to make the play. So Collins has got to be ready for that. He's got to be ready for that relentless type, play through the echo of the whistle. They just can't allow Ryan Kerrigan to make plays in this game, whether it's in the pass or the run. Ryan Kerrigan could be a hard guy to run to the outside of, because he's long, he's able to extend, and he'll widen you. And then they've got linebackers that can run. The kid they got, Cole Holcomb from North Carolina, had to make a start at Mike linebacker and did a really nice job in the Philadelphia game. So they got some guys in this defense that can run. Montez Sweat can run. But the guy, I think the biggest key for the Cowboys to make sure they take care of is to take care of Ryan Kerrigan. I think he's the one player that can really cause problems for you. Without Jonathan Allen being in the game, I feel like that's the best shot for the Redskins to have some type of success.
And he didn't practice for them yesterday. It sounds like he's week to week with a knee issue, so that would impact their D-line.
Jonathan Allen?
Yeah.
I don't think he's not going to play in this game, I don't think. One of the great things, I don't know, we don't get this with the other teams, but they send all their quotes and stuff too. I don't know. I've never seen that before.
No. Nope.
So that's a great thing. They got Jay Gruden's, he's going through his injury report. He's talking about all his players. And so you kind of get an idea. It looks like that him and Geis are going to be guys that are going to be out of this football game.
Sounds like Geis is getting a second opinion on his knee.
Down in Florida, Dr. Andrews,
Yeah, because they've already said he needs to have surgery to repair the torn meniscus.
Yeah.
And which would keep him out probably 2, 4, 6 weeks, something like that, if he has it. So you would imagine he's out. And the other thing with Jonathan Allen, and I know the depth chart's different on how they use guys, but their depth chart, Caleb Brantley, he's not practicing either.
Yeah.
Along with their starting free safety, Monte Nicholson. So they've got a few injury problems. Jordan Reed's probably still not ready to go. That'll be interesting to see. And then if Geis is out, Colt McCoy we know is out. So, they're getting a little thin with starters having problems.
Tim Settle, who a veteran guy, is he's a guy that could play as an inside player in the nickel, or he could play as a defensive end. So if they have to do something for Jonathan Allen, they've got this outside linebacker too, Ryan Anderson, that they'll put his hand down on the ground as well. So they've got ways to kind of make up for Allen, but Allen did a really nice job last year of being very disruptive. Connor Williams had some problems with him in that football game. He's just one of those guys, a very powerful guy. A lot like Deron Payne, those guys, those big inside techniques, hard guys to move, hard guys they keep you square along the line of scrimmage, and it makes it difficult for the back to get a read for how they're going to run the football. That's, with Zeke Elliott, when he runs the ball, he's looking for creases. He's looking for guys. He's looking for gaps. He's looking for guys that get turned. It's very hard to turn these Washington down linemen. Now, Philadelphia did have some success in the second half of their game running the football with that way. They were able to kind of get the Redskins off balance a little bit with their game plan. So Cowboys offensive line up to the task should be, but we'll see if in fact that they can get some. I think they're going to need to run the ball in this game, and it's going to be talking about balance and all that. It's again another cliche to say, but I think to really set up what they want to do. I think the Redskins defensively are more disciplined than what the Giants were. And so, playing keys and all that, I think they're going to have some success. Try and take some of the pressure off Prescott, even though he played great last week. allow him some of those easier throws off that play action if they're actually running the football well and they're committed to stopping the run.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you thought about this Redskins defensive front, because I think that's a deeper, more talented group than what the Giants had.
Sure.
But from what you saw on tape, because there's been a lot of talk about the Cowboys defensive line needing more production after that first game. Redskins, you go back and look at it in the final box score, they got 4 hits on the quarterback, 1 sack. I think Wentz was like 12 of 13 passing on third down.
On third down, yeah.
They weren't able to get off the field. I think all three of his
problems. Yeah,
all 3 of his touchdowns came on third down. I'm sure they're looking for more production defensively.
And depending on what you think about the Philadelphia offensive line, I think it's very similar to the Cowboys offensive line when you start talking about player for player. If the fact that they were able to protect a little bit better, this team does have a legitimate pass rusher. Actually, has 2 of them. I don't think the Giants do. So Cowboys, if they could protect like they did against the Giants last week, that will open up so much for them going against this Washington secondary.
Plus, they gave up 123 yards rushing to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So
in big chunks too.
So they were susceptible against the run, and now you've got Zeke ready to go. I bet there's no pitch count on him this game.
You don't think so?
Well, think about it. He got 37 snaps in the game. The game almost gets you ready to play more so than practice.
And
right?
they probably weren't expecting that many from him, but some of the drives, the way they unfolded, he was on the field maybe a little bit more than they thought he might be.
And I guarantee you, if it was a close game and they didn't need to sit him in the fourth quarter, he'd have played.
I think so.
But I bet you don't. I bet you don't get 37 snaps in practice. In a week, maybe.
In a week, yeah. He gets a lot of work. He'll surprise you how much work he does get done. And I think they're more mindful maybe this week because he hasn't had a lot of snaps since OTAs and the mini camps.
Right.
But they also want to make sure that Tony Pollard's ready. And they also want to make sure that Jameis Oluwale's ready.
So the game almost prepares him for the next game better than 3 practices he had. Yeah. So you got to count that too. I mean, somebody mentioned in the walk-off, well, this would be 6 practices. But the game means something.
Yeah.
That gets you ready to play again. So I bet he's ready to go.
Nothing like actually getting hit, right?
Yeah,
getting that
or
first
just
hit
getting
again.
snaps and seeing it live, So, let's go.
What are your thoughts on Amari's another guy is from different circumstances, but coming off missing a month? Did you see anything different from him in terms of the way he responded in the game and then coming back this week? Is there any concern there for him, or did he look like himself? I thought he looked pretty much like Amari Cooper in the game with the coming off the heel deal.
You know what? If Amari Cooper was out there working and not running routes at full speed, and if he was running them at 50% or 60% routes and just kind of getting an idea, getting timing and stuff like that, I would be totally okay with that. I don't need Amari Cooper practicing at 100%. I don't need. Take that back. I don't need Amari Cooper running his routes at 100%. I just need Amari Cooper to kind of, I'm part of the game plan. Dak Prescott knows what Amari Cooper can do. Dak Prescott knows if I throw the ball here, Amari Cooper is going to be there. I'd be very mindful. I think Amari Cooper, as much as he wants to go out there and run and be the guy that we all know he is, I think he has to be very mindful of that because he's gonna practice. He wants to practice. He wants to go out there. But I think he's also, if you asked him, he would say, "Hey, Amari, are you running every route like it's 100%?" And he would probably say, "Well, I'm mindful of my situation out there and what I need to do. I know I need to practice, but I also know that I need to be careful how I practice." No sense of aggravating that. If he's sitting over on the side, he's resting it, right. But being out there and actually running the routes, at least he kind of gets a feel of how things could be.
I mean, he played 52 of 68 snaps.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they regulated his snaps.
No.
They just, at the end, probably said, "Okay, you're done.
You're out.
We're up 25 points.
Right.
Don't need you out there anymore."
Same thing with Zach Martin. He told us yesterday the back responded okay coming out of the game. They've got a plan for him. I think, was he limited yesterday? So, try to get him throughout the season, get him ready to play, because that back thing is something you don't want to linger as well.
Nope. I think Jason Garrett, if he could
understand that?
I know that better than anybody right now.
I think if Jason Garrett would be really happy if he could get his players through the padded practice of those guys that are nicked up a little bit or banged up, and kind of get them work that way, get them a little work in the heat, and get their conditioning a little bit better. And then if he has to manage a Thursday or Friday practice, he'll be able to do that. That's a little bit more, allow the guys to kind of catch their feet, get their bodies back again. But that Wednesday practice is really, really important to him because he does take them outside and he does work in the heat, and those guys have to fight through that. So, all the focus is really on that. And then, okay, now what do we need to do on Thursday and Friday to make sure our guys are available Sunday?
And that's kind of what they did with Sean Lee, right?
Yes.
He gets through the padded practice.
The padded practice is important.
If you need Friday off, go ahead. Don't worry about it. I need you for Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with those things.
All right, good enough. Let's take our first break. When we come back, more looking at week 2 of Cowboys Redskins, and we'll take your questions as well next on Talkin' Cowboys.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not too...
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Work the Cowboys way and channel the winning business tradition of the Dallas Cowboys and the Jones family at Formation. This dynamic workspace provides an elevated work experience on the Star's aspirational campus with exclusive membership options available to meet varying needs. Choose from open workspaces, dedicated desks, and private offices to leverage our home field advantage for your individual business success. Limited memberships are available now, so apply today at formation@thestar.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to the break.
Welcome back. Don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium on Sunday, September 22nd, as they take on the Miami Dolphins. Get your tickets now at DallasCowboys.com. We are back on Talkin' Cowboys inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio. Talking Cowboys and Redskins, week 2 up in Landover, Maryland.
You guys, we talked about concerns week 1. Does some of those concerns, anything, I had the concern to talk about, we don't know what, maybe we'll see with Kellen Moore, what we'll see from him, as far as the play caller. Kind of had an idea watching practice and stuff. I liked the way how aggressive he took advantage of the situation, though. But did any of those concerns that you might have had in week 1, is it still a concern for you? I know it was a great victory, a dominating victory against the Giants, but was there anything that you thought about the early of the season that you said, okay, well, I'm still kind of seeing this a little bit?
Well, we talked about the run defense a couple days ago. We had a mailbag question on it on the site today.
Are we overdoing that on the run defense?
I personally think this will get tightened up, but I understand people's concerns because it goes back to the Rams. It goes back to the Colts in December.
Right.
And I will say this. I think Saquon Barkley is a tough draw.
He's the best back they're going to play, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you get him in week 1.
Yeah.
And we were
tackling poor.
I mean, we were talking to Leighton Vander Esch on Friday, and he was so excited about he called it great opportunity. He pounded his fist right off the bat to figure out where we are with our tackling coming out of camp. I think that's a tough draw for a team that don't get a lot to do a lot of that in preseason. It's not an excuse, but I think it's something they can tighten up with as much talent as they have on this defense. I'm not that worried about it. But look, Adrian Peterson's a challenge. There's no doubt about it.
Am I wrong, though, about trying to have the balance to talk about having the running game? Do I need to think that now Dak Prescott, you can load the wagon on him and he'll carry the load for you? Is that
offensively? Okay, that's a good question.
Because to me, if that's the case, then then everybody's going to say, well, you shouldn't have paid Ezekiel up. I'm one of these guys that believes you should have paid Ezekiel. I'm glad they did. I really am. I think he's important, but am I going to be wrong at the end of the day about Dak Prescott can carry the load? Yeah, he could shoulder. He could throw the ball 40 times a game, and this team will be okay.
All right, so back to the running thing. I just did my math real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants only ran the ball 17 times, but they had 151 yards.
Yeah, the score had
so,
that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take away the 59.
Right.
So now it's 16 for 92.
Right.
That's almost 6 yards a carry.
Sure.
That's what I said yesterday. They were productive beyond just the big run.
So it wasn't the fact that they gave up on the run or whatever. They still had 151 yards rushing, and they've already given up a 100-yard rusher. Last year there was 3 over 16 games. Now you're 1 for 1.
Yeah.
So, I still think...
was that your concern? Was that your biggest concern?
Coming out of the game, yeah. Because I had written down all the other concerns I had going into the game.
I know we talked about it.
Can Dak step up and do
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Okay,
check mark that, yeah.
With the run defense, are you seeing things from that Giants game that were similar to Rams' playoff game?
I saw a gaping hole for Saquon Barkley on the second snap of the game.
He's not wrong about that.
Well, yeah, and that was a gap issue, right? And a miscommunication pre-snap, really.
Well, gap issue was the linebackers were in the wrong gap, but all I know on the outside there, once they hit Tyrone Crawford with a double team, there was nobody there.
There was nobody in the alley at all. Yeah.
So... I got to see.
Let me ask you this though. Okay, going in though, this game plan. If you're the Redskins, do you say, okay, we're gonna run the football until Dallas proves they can stop from that happening? Is that going to be something? I mean, if you're the Cowboys, do you have to go in this game plan thinking it's not going to be about Case Keenum maybe throwing the ball like he did in the long passes to Terry McLaurin, and people like that? Is it just turn around and handing the ball to Adrian Peterson until Dallas finds a way to stop this running game?
I mean, didn't he have 100 yards last year?
He did.
It was the second game?
He ran well.
Well, it was the fourth game of the year.
The first time they met. When they got beat.
No, I was with Ambar Garcia. She broke down some stuff for Somos Cowboys. And there was a couple plays that I pulled for they're running the inside zone, just straight handoff, inside handoff. And, I mean, there are white jerseys on blue jerseys across the board. And now there's that hole that Mickey's talking about, that gaping hole. And it's Tank Lawrence having to run all the way from the backside as the play has gone for 20 yards. Mm-hmm. I think that the Cowboys have got to be aware of gap control, playing your technique, getting off blocks. Because if the Redskins could figure out that they can run the football by just going up and getting hats on hats with Adrian Peterson, this could be a long day for them. I mean, it could be a long day, but it also could be a long day for the Redskins having to deal with Ezekiel Elliott and the passing game and all that.
Exactly. I mean, that Mickey pointed out, the score affected to some degree how much Barkley was involved in that game, and that's going to, if the Cowboys can get off to a good start, that's going to impact Peterson as well.
Oh, it did. It clearly did. It clearly affected the way it came down to the Giants having to throw the football.
Right.
All of a sudden, and Barkley's over on the sidelines talking to his coach. He's like, "Why am I not in the game?" Well, you're not in the game because we don't want to risk you getting hurt in one of when it's out of hand like it is. But if that game was tight. And what happens every time that we go play at that FedEx Field? It's a tight game.
It's never easy up there.
It's never easy, and it's not easy for the Redskins either.
No,
it's not. They've had their issues too. It came down to really a bad call and a missed field goal at the very end. But there's sacks, there's fumbles, there's interception on both sides. There's tipped balls. There's Dak Prescott trying to get a quarterback sneak for a first down. Ball gets punched loose. There's a lot of things that happen in these games that you don't, you're kind of like, whoa, okay, that could have been very well the difference of the game right there.
There may be rain in the forecast
Rain
on
in the
Sunday.
forecast. Both teams maybe having to run the football a little more, yeah.
So they got this little category here, tackles for losses.
Had a chance for a couple, I know that.
There's no name on that list.
Yeah.
That means they didn't have any.
Yeah.
Right. So the person that was criticizing me about The reason the defensive line didn't have a lot of tackles because all they did was throw the ball.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but they ran the ball 16 times other than the long one for 92 yards. Somebody's got to make those tackles.
I tell you what, Mickey, I'm with you. I never felt like the Cowboys had a real control over that when they handed the ball to 26. I felt like it was a 4 or 5 yard shot, and maybe they had a chance for a tackle for a loss, I believe, with Anthony Brown. And that's a defensive back. Anthony Brown comes up, doesn't wrap up, and then you get a spin and an 8 yard gain.
They did force 3 fumbles.
Yeah.
They did get 2 of those.
And that's a good thing they did.
Yeah.
They did get off the field 11 out of 13 times. I mean, it wasn't all bad defensively, but you guys are right. I mean,
it's not to me. You could say what you want about the pass rush because of Manning getting rid of the football. That's fine. I feel like that they could play good pass defense. I feel like the pressure will come, but if teams have the ability to run the football on you and control the game that way, and they make it all manageable. I mean, you get this quarterback in those situations where it's 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 5 all day. He's going to look like an all-pro quarterback. And that's the thing I worry. I mean, I worry on early downs. How can the Cowboys win on those early downs? That's going to be key for them in this game.
And the other thing is what you hope was the Rams game was one of those things.
Yeah.
But was it a blueprint for other people to say, there's how we run against the Cowboys? Yeah. Or what Indianapolis did?
Or you just draft Saquon Barkley with the first overall pick.
Indianapolis didn't have Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. I mean, I will point out DeMarcus Lawrence gets 32 snaps out of 69.
Right, I understand.
Tyrone gets 30.
No question.
Robert Quinn's not back yet.
But how about those backup guys? We always talk about the backup guys. Brian Broaddus will sit there and tell you. Brian Broaddus will tell you, here I'm talking third person again, but Brian Broaddus will tell you, like, oh, hey, rotation, big rotation, rotational players. That's all I ever talk about. The rotational players, did they really get the job done? No, they really didn't. It was a game in hand, yeah. But did the rotational players, when all they knew they had to do was play pass, did they do enough? And no, the answer is no there. So I think overall, defensively, you would have to say, okay, what was the blemish here? Yeah, they gave up yards, which they're okay with, but if they play somebody that can, their defense is better, then it becomes a tight game. Well, they could have some more problems here.
So you asked about questions going in and about the different deals.
Yeah.
We got to go to a break?
No, keep going.
Okay.
Or tease something. Something.
No, so I was saying, we mentioned Dak. The other thing was Amari's foot.
Right.
Check. Nothing wrong there.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we think, yeah.
We've been saying Michael Gallup's ready to take the next step.
Yeah.
Right.
Check. Yeah. Nothing there. Can Randall Cobb do the job and replace Cole Beasley?
Check
right there.
Yeah.
Any worries about Kellen Moore now because he's now the next boy wonder?
Yeah,
right?
He is Bill Walsh.
Right. What would Jason Witten do? And would he get in the way of Jarwin?
No.
And yes and no. You know, he was fine and he didn't get in the way of Jarwin.
Right. By the way, I was going to mention that snap, not disparity, the distribution of snaps between the two of them. Jarwin got 27 and Witt got 45. So we'll see. I mean,
did Schultz get any?
9.
9. Okay.
Out of 68.
So those were the and then the other one was Frederick.
Yeah.
How was he going to do?
I was going to ask you guys that how you guys thought he looked in the game.
I think he was fine. Pass protection.
Film was fine.
Yeah.
He was helping out where he needed to help out.
Again, it's about getting in position. It's about securing blocks. It's about helping Connor Williams when you can, and he did all those things.
Zach Martin back. Fine. Tyron, fine.
Yeah.
You didn't notice Connor Williams in the game.
Yeah, you will this week, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, you better not.
Yeah,
but if
you'll notice he's having to block Deron Payne. Yeah.
So all those things, those were kind of the questions going in. We really didn't have a lot of questions on defense, and then we come out of the game, and now we got questions on the defense.
Yeah. Okay, let's take our final break. Brian, you mentioned you had a question about Dak specifically.
Yeah.
Let's get to that when we come back on Talkin' Cowboys.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper Soft Coolers at OtterBox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine a surging river of ice-cold Dr. Pepper, roaring with carbonated mists of desire. You're dangling above it, upside down, like a fishing lure in the wind. 23 flavors tickle your nose, but the river is too far away to taste. Dr. Pepper calls to you. You.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
And more Jack Black, because as you know, you're going to show your pits who's boss. Pit Boss antiperspirant and deodorant. You can now on special through I believe Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. 2 for $26.
Yeah.
You're going to save $38. So go ahead and get your Pit Boss antiperspirant. Limited quantities, limited time. Go to getjackblack.com.
Wow. Brian loves NASCAR, man. This is the pit crew right here.
Pit crew.
Right
I wonder, they probably need it too.
Yeah, it's a lot of this time of year. Yeah, a lot of smelly driver uniforms.
Absolutely. All right, welcome back to Talking Cowboys. We got about 10 minutes left in the show.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, Brian, you mentioned. I think we're talking about potential concerns. Are we seeing trends after one game potentially? Yeah. What about that with Dak? Do you think it's reaching a point where if he needs to shoulder the load fully, he can do it, although 21 is back?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, this might be a game where if they do shut down the run, being the Redskins, that we're going to have to see Dak potentially put it up a bunch. You know, I don't think they want to do that. Nate and I do the post-game show, and we always look at the stat line when the Cowboys win. And we love the stat line when Dak is 22 of 29 for 252 yards and 2 touchdowns.
The old Troy Aikman numbers.
I love that. That's like, and then you got Ezekiel with 100 yards, and but you've got that balance, and then you've got to win. But I think after last week, there are people like myself that are saying, wait a minute, maybe this guy can shoulder the load. Maybe he can be with the weapons that he has. Maybe they don't have to run the football as successfully as they do. I think it helps them in the play-action game because Dak Prescott, to me, when you talk about quarterbacks in the league that are really good as ball handlers and then getting rid of the ball from that, the draw, whether it's the boots, the waggles, the play-action stuff, anything that he could do with ball handling and then get the ball out is a real plus for him. But maybe we're starting to see where now Dak Prescott is going to be able to shoulder the load where if he has to throw that ball 35, 40 times, that in fact he could do it and do it with some success, and this team can win with him playing that way.
Better ingredients, better pizza.
Don't say it.
Better players, better quarterback.
Yeah, there you go.
Michael Irvin made a really good comment yesterday when he was on The Fan. He said finally they got receivers that are Dak receivers. These aren't Tony Romo receivers where he's going to throw a lot of 50-50 balls up and they're going to go get them.
That's a good point.
These are Dak receivers who are going to run precise routes and be where they're supposed to be when they need to be there. And he can throw the ball on time then. But before, he's not trusting guys.
That's a good point.
And he's holding the ball. Amari Cooper, great routes, right? Randall Cobb, we know what he can do. Yep. And now Michael Gallup's no longer a rookie. So, to me, that makes a lot of difference in his play. Now, on the other hand, how many times are you going to get 2 touchdown passes when the defense blows the coverage? Yeah. And they don't cover the guy, right? No one covered. They didn't do anything fancy on Jarwin's touchdown. No. He just ran straight down the field, and all of a sudden the Giants looked up and go, oh, somebody was supposed to have him.
In fact, Dak said that's a play that Witten really has liked for a while. And it was like, oh, Witten's not in the huddle. He's not going to like this because we're dialing it up for Jarwin.
But they didn't do anything. It wasn't like he even faked the block. He just went straight. And then Randall Cobb.
Shot put ball.
Cobb comes out of the slot. There's no motion. They're in 3 wide, and no one took him. No one guarded him.
Yeah.
So, now they might have been guilty because their 2 safeties were doubling the outside guys. But still, they didn't do anything. So how many times in a game is that going to happen?
Well, maybe, it's a good point. I like what the playmaker said about that, by the way. It's a great point on his part. But maybe these players, maybe the fact that you have Cooper, Cobb, Gallup, Witten, maybe the fact that you have all these guys on the outside, Jarwin occasionally, that put so much pressure on a secondary that the adjustments they make are wrong. They're trying so much. Okay, who do you try and stop in this, third down? Who are we going to stop here? We're going to take Gallup out of the game. We're going to take Cooper out of the game. We're going to take Cobb out of the game. And then all of a sudden, maybe we'll see more busts because of people trying to gamble on who to take out of a game, and then it exposes another area of a defense's weakness.
A pick your poison type deal.
I wrote this earlier. I'm not sure that Greg Minuski is going to travel Norman. I mean, I really don't. I don't.
We haven't seen it, have we?
It's not traditionally something he does, but it could be a situation where he says, you know what, I've got to try. I got to try and take somebody away here. I've got to try and hope that Landon Collins and Quinton Dunbar and those guys can hold up. That's going to be the trick for them. I mean, they've got a rookie. This Jimmy Moreland is playing the nickel for them. They got a rookie playing the nickel. What did we see last week? The Giants had a rookie playing corner. Baker was part of the, DeAndre Baker. And it was a terrible game for him.
Wasn't Moreland in coverage on the Deshaun Jackson touchdown?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, they were running vertical routes and stuff, and so. Yeah, I mean, Minuski could be in some problems because and Josh Norman is not what Josh Norman was 5 years ago. He's not. But he's still, I think, the best defender they have in the secondary. And it might, and even now detaching Witten, we've seen Landon Collins in the past go with Witten when he was with the Giants. Witten's had some big games against the Giants and Landon Collins and those guys. So I think that maybe, to Mickey's point, busts maybe because of trying to deal with so much on the outside now.
Amari said it yesterday. It's a defense's worst nightmare to have to contend with a lot of different guys making plays. And I think you wrote about this. I said it on the pregame show. If Giants are gonna show extra attention to Amari, Michael Gallup could have a big day. We actually kind of saw the opposite at times. Yeah. Gallup, a little extra attention on him. Amari in single coverage. So we'll see. The other
protection in this game, though, it's got to be protection.
Right.
Yeah.
We saw what good protection will do.
It was as clean as you could expect.
You give this guy the opportunity to look at 1 or 2 players and find a Cobb winning, a Gallup winning, a Cooper winning, a Witten winning. He's going to make the right decision to get the ball out.
I mean, think about it. Okay, say Norman, you're going to put him on Amari, right? You're going to double Gallup.
Yeah.
Okay, who's got the slot?
Yeah.
And their guy that's listed on the depth chart as the first guy, Fabian Morrow, he's been injured.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he played.
Yeah, no, he didn't play. It's Jimmy Moreland is who.
So Moreland's going to play.
Yeah.
So now you got Cobb one-on-one with a rookie.
Yeah.
And then who's taking the tight end?
Yeah. That's probably Landon Collins.
Right.
That's probably Landon Collins.
So, but it's hard to double somebody if that guy's on Witten. then you can't. Where's the other safety going?
Protect.
You got nobody safety?
Yeah, protect.
Because if you think about it, on Cooper's touchdown, they got Cooper in single coverage on Baker because they had one safety coming down. They were thinking they're going to blitz, and the other safety's in the middle of the field. He couldn't get there in a 21-yard pass.
A little bit of chicken and the egg, too, because protection, obviously key. Better defensive front this week. Although I think you're seeing better separation from receivers than we certainly saw at the beginning of last year. Where
much better.
Dak's getting the ball out. Like Zach Martin said, there were a couple times where it's like we had to hold our block for like a split second. The ball's out and we're good.
Well, how about this? How about having your all-pro center back, which helps tremendously, and how about an improving right tackle, and how about a stronger left guard?
Yeah.
So the protection could very well be there with everything that I just talked about. With all we know what we have with Tyrod Smith, and you know what you have with Zach Martin. Now you got Travis Frederick back there in the middle, the calls, the help, all that stuff like that. So people could have a hard time rushing this team, and that could be a problem because Dak, if he's got protection, we've seen it, he'll light you up.
3 of the top 4 receivers in the game in the opener last year. Name them.
Oh, it was Thompson, Hearns, and Beasley. Am I right?
Thompson, Hearns, Beasley, Terrence Williams. I wasn't counting Beasley.
Okay, yeah.
3 of the 4.
And Tavon Austin. They had a 5 or 6 man rotation in there.
They went from an absolute dumpster fire to like, oh my gosh, he just maybe hit the mother load here. Yeah.
Better ingredients, better offense.
All right. Definitely more stable there in the receiving core.
I'm going to use that too, by the way.
Feel free to write mix shots.
Fair enough.
Friday.
Yeah, you missed it on mix shots yesterday.
I was saving it for tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll be back on Friday to wrap up the week, previewing Cowboys and Redskins. The break is next on Dallas Cowboys Radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?